going to show you how to use the new HTML screen. So if I open up the new HTML config screens here, now some of you will have seen this. This is where you create categories, control category access, users, roles, user access. But what we're going to look at today is data connections. So if I come to this tab, click the little plus button, this will create a brand new data connection. As I look down, there's some mandatory fields here to fill in. So I need to provide a data connection title. So I'm going to entitle this demonstration. So if I put demonstration into that field, I'm then going to go down and I could choose all the different data connections exactly as we used to in Flex. I'm going to stick with HyperSQL for this demonstration. The database is on my machine, so I'll leave that at localhost. But the database name is Dashboard, and I'm going to use a user called SA. There's no password on this account, not best practice, but this is just for a demonstration. So once I've created that data connection, you see in the bottom right hand corner there, I got a pop-up to say it's saved. All I'm going to do now is go straight to the introspection. Now, where this differs first of all is this is kind of like a wizard that takes you through. So if I drop down my public schema here, I've got all the data tables that I've got access to. So if I have a look down, right down at the bottom, I should be able to find the data connections that we actually use on our training course. So I'm going to pull out my sales data connection, which should be down at the bottom here. So if I find that and click on that, I can see the header of the data table. Now also if I drop that down, I'll start to see all of the columns, or I could click on here and change the table alias. But if I drop that down, I'll see the columns here. And I can either select all of those columns, or I can actually just go down and tick the columns that I'm interested in. And in this case, I'm just going to click them, and it'll add them to my generation list. Now, it's not created them at this point. This is just creating a candidate list for me to go and create. So I'll add a few objects here, including I'll just add my sale value as well. Now, what I can now do is I can now go and make amendments to these. So by default, they're accounting and the display name. I might want to make that a little bit more readable, so I'm going to change that to campaign, or my cust age, I'll change that to customer age. I'm going to change my region to region so it looks nice, and I'm going to change my sale value here. So my sale value, obviously it's already a measure, which is fine for me. I'm going to click generate, and that will take me to my first entity model. So now it's created those objects ready to go. I can click on any one of the objects from here and open up the editor straight away. Now we've made a little bit better use of screen real estate, but I can still edit things manually as I used to. So I'm just going to edit that sale value manually and click save. Now again, down in the bottom right hand corner there, it's told me it's saved. Now just before I go back to the dashboard, I'm going to create myself a new category, and I'll call that demonstration as well, so that we can put a chart on the page. So if I create demonstration and save that, and again I'll get the processing and saved, I can now come back to the dashboard. I don't have to refresh the page at all because it's all in line, so it knows I've created the page for myself. I'm going to go into the edit chart screen just as normal, and this time I'm going to use my demonstration connection, the one I've just created. So I'm going to select campaign and I'm going to select sales value, and straight away it will create me a chart. Just as before, I'll create myself a little nice drill path on here, so everything here just works exactly as it's always worked. So I select my product, and I'm going to go down and select my region, and then once I'm happy with that, I'll give my chart a name, so I'll just call that demo 1, and once I've got that, I'll save it. I've now got my demo 1 chart, and I can drill into that chart, so just as any other chart, but the only difference being we've created it on a connection. Now I'm also going to show you a really neat feature. What you used to get into in the edit chart screen is you found that you didn't have an object and you needed to make a change, so you had to come out the edit chart screen and go back out. Here I can just click the spanner and go straight into the data connection from the edit chart screen. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add another table. So I'm going to go down and select my call details table. And again, I could select all of the columns, but I'll select just one of the columns on here to show you what happens. And then click the generate button, which will generate the structure. I can drag that chart into a nice space on the entity model. And all I'm going to do now is create a join. So I just double click on the chart title, go to joins, select the table I want to join to, which brings up the join SQL here. Click on the join SQL, and then I've got the picker. I can pick agreement number to agreement number. I'll append that to there because I can add multiple or composite joins in there if I want to. But once I've selected those two things and selected the append, those will now be joined. And if I go back to the entity model, I can see that I've got a join between those two tables click on the join and it will take me back and I can see the details of that join, and that all looks absolutely fabulous. Go straight back down to the edit chart screen and there's that object call duration from the new data connection. So you can just add and create and do objects straight from the edit chart screen now. Okay, so that was a quick introduction to the new HTML edit chart screen. Hope you enjoyed the video and we look forward to telling you more in the future. Thank you.